warnings. There is some dark stuff that happens in the story, such as people dying of their own accord. Also, I might go on tangents about adaptations. That'll be fun. Now, so we have all of that. Wait, just remembered another thing. I might bounce back and forth a lot. Now our story begins as the ship, the Pharaon, is coming into port after a long voyage of trading and such, because it's a trader vessel. It's a trader. No, it's a trading vessel. But the flags are saying something like, yeah, everything might not be super good on board. So the owner of the Pharaon wasn't on the ship. Yeah, no. Rich people have been paying other people to do their work for a long time. Not to say Morel's a bad guy. He's a wonderful guy. Sticks with Edmund a lot. Speaking of Edmund, his introduction is him captaining the Pharaon because he's first mate. It's pretty cool that he's first mate at 19. I don't know. Maybe people because their lifespans were generally shorter, they achieved things at younger points in life. Maybe it's not because their lives were shorter. Maybe it's just because they had less distractions. So anyways, Morel. Monsieur Morel. He goes out on a little rowboat thing off to the Pharaon, because it's pulling down anchor over there, and they're gonna unload stuff, and it's gonna take months. So he goes and talks to Edmund, who is just captaining the ship while talking to him, and he's just wow, he's so good at all of this. Also, everybody in the story likes Edmund Dantes, except for the guys that betray him, but they only don't like him because everybody likes him. An argument could be made that he's a Mary Sue, or Gary Stu, because he's a boy. But also, after he becomes the Count, people still like him, but he's flawed enough with his shifted morality to not be considered a Gary Stu. Bad guys, they can have all the power in the world, no weaknesses, and just be all around awesome. Now, enough gushing over that. Drive the Count has a cool evil laugh. Okay. So while he's doing all this work, and Morel is marveling at how efficient he is, then Danglars, the shipwright? Don't think that's right. 1 second. I will check the source. I'm so obsessed with this book. I don't even understand why I like it so much, but then I started thinking about it, wait a second, I have always liked imprisonment, especially false imprisonment, because then they're innocent, and so then you want them to escape. I guess guilty people escaping is kind of interesting too, probably kind of accurate, but it's just there's so many innocent people in prison, and they might not have been bad people going into prison, but prison changing them and turning them into bad people is so messed up, and also exactly what the story's about. And I love that. It's cool. Les Miserables. Still need to read that brick of a book. Weapon of a book. It is twice as thick as the Count of Monte Cristo. After he escapes prison, it's really defining that he chooses to be a good guy after what he went through in prison. And that's really cool and character defining. Count of Monte Cristo is what a character will do if it lets what they went through control their lives. The Count of Monte Cristo was controlling my life. I'm so obsessed with it. Just he's so obsessed with revenge. I'm not super big on vengeance. Sure, it's cool, but also cycle of revenge. Anyone? Man, maybe it would be faster just to read an audiobook of the story instead of my summary with air quotes. While Edmund is doing all of this stuff, Morel comes aboard, and then Danglars pops out. Nobody really likes Danglars, probably because he has, the easiest job, or appears to have the easiest job, because he's just writing down stuff and counting out what stuff is. It's not like he's on board, raising the sails. Maybe he is ship. I don't know how things work on ships. But he's not, unloading the cargo and doing all that kind of stuff. So he comes out, starts talking to Morel. It could be Danglars, and not Danglars, but I always pronounce it Danglars because there's an S at the end, but it's French, and French is apparently more messed up than English, and English is pretty messed up. Still want to learn French though. Maybe it shouldn't be my first language to learn. Maybe I should learn like Russian or something. Russian sounds cool. Danglars starts bad-mouthing Edmund to Morel behind his back. Danglars it was like trying to be captain, like, oh yeah, did I say the captain died already? Anyways, the captain died, and that's why Edmund's in charge. Breath was scarcely out of Captain Leclerc's body when Edmund took charge, and Morel's like, yeah, that's his job. He is the second mate. It's pretty cool that he took charge right away. And so it's just like all the reasons that Danglars is putting out for why Edmund is like so annoying. Morel's like, yeah, that's so cool of him. And then he brings up the letter. I'll just flash back. Story starts before the book starts. Backflash. Captain Leclerc was dying. He got like a fever, and fevers are fatal back in the 1800s. He's just, sitting there dying, but, also he's kind of, secretly a Bonapartist. And so, he's working with another super cool character. He hasn't come in yet, but he will. And so he's, talking to Napoleon and stuff. And, it's super illegal to do that right now because, Napoleon was just exiled or something. He wrote a letter to Napoleon because he's like, okay, I'm gonna die before I get to Napoleon, so Edmund, can you come help me do this? Here, I wrote this letter, give this letter to, the marshal, do whatever he says. And then Edmund's like, yeah, of course, I'll do whatever my captain says, that's the rules of a ship. Plus it's your dying wish, which is also another thing that you gotta respect. So he takes the letter, goes to the island of Elba, where Napoleon was exiled, actually talks to Napoleon, gives them the letter, they give him a letter to send to one Monsieur Noirtier, who's a really awesome character. Love Noirtier. Oh, Noirtier. Yes, super cool character. I was going to go on a rant about how things movies and stuff got it bad, but you can just watch my other videos. You might have already followed to this video, so you've already seen that video, or you want to watch this video before you watch that video, and so you haven't heard me gush about how cool he is, but he's super cool. I won't get to him, but most of his cool stuff that he does, I guess he does shave his beard, that's pretty cool. Shaving his beard, super cool. No, it's just the way he does it was super cool. So, yeah, we'll get back to him. The letter is to him. That's important. Because he has a son named Villefort. Villefort is a royalist. But we'll get back to that. We're still in the backflash thing. So, Danglars is telling Morel that Edmund embarked on Elba. And that wasn't on the schedule. Why did we lose a few days over going off to Elba? And then Morel's like, that is odd, but I'm sure Edmund had a good reason for that. And so then, after Danglars is done, well, he's not done bad-mouthing Edmund, but Edmund gets done with whatever he was, not whatever he was doing. He was doing important ship commanding work. And, you gotta have work, the physical, dock the ship, do all the work stuff before you can talk about, say, the captain dying. Pretty sure he told Morel the captain died, and he's like, okay, I'll talk to you after I, finish doing my work that, you're paying me to do. So then he comes over, and then Danglars gets out of there. So then Morel is like, so, do you like Danglars? Edmund's like, professionally he's okay, but unprofessionally I did kind of challenge him to a duel. He refused, which is probably good. But yeah, I challenged him to a duel because, we had a disagreement. But professionally, yeah, he's pretty good. Ed Morel was only asking that because he's like, well, he was just wondering if he was, am I gonna have to, like, get rid of Danglars if you're gonna be the captain? Like, are you good being the captain over him? Because, like, if there's gonna be a problem, like, let's fire Danglars. He doesn't actually say that, but, like, maybe he implied that. Maybe he was gonna fire Danglars. Morel also asks about Elba. Going to the island of Elba wasn't what he was supposed to do, and, like, you can't really hide that you're going to shore from your entire crew. Like, so, Edmund, why did you embark off on the island of Elba? And so he tells him what I already told you, and so Morel's like, oh, yeah, alright. You, of course you're gonna do what the captain tells you to do. By the way, don't tell anybody you have that letter that's, like, kinda dangerous. But, I mean, I'm not gonna report you. I love you. Like, doesn't really show their relationship that much early on. But, like, later on it states that, like, Edmund, like, was playing with his kids. And, like, Maximilian Morel doesn't show up at the beginning. But he was just, like, a little boy at this point in time. And Edmund, like, you know, played with him. Probably sort of babysat him. Don't know. Kids were left to their own devices a lot more at a lot younger ages back then. So I don't think they necessarily babysat them. But, like, you know, he was playing with Maximilian. And basically considers Maximilian sort of like his surrogate son. After he comes back from prison due to what Morel... Like, Morel's supposed to be, you know, the super cool guy. Despite his suicidal tendencies that he also passed on to his son. Okay, I mean, Maximilian, like, he's supposed to be this super handsome, hot dude. I don't see him that way. I can go off on a big tangent on Maximilian, but we can do that in, like, part 2. And so then Morel's like, so, you wanna, like, come over for dinner? Now that you're back? No, I'm pretty sure he does say something along the lines of, like, I mean, I can get rid of Danglars because you're gonna be captain. Pretty sure that's in the book. And then Edmund's like, wait, what? You wanna make me captain? Oh my goodness, thank you. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you're like the obvious choice. Everybody loves you. The entire crew loves you. Except for Danglars. But yeah! Then he's like, so, you wanna come over for dinner? And then Edmund's like, I would love to, but I gotta go see my dad. Then after that, then there's someone else I gotta go see. And then Morel's like, ah, yes, the lovely Mercedes. You know, she came asking about you, like, a lot. He's like, oh, so cute. She is my fiance. And, like, Morel called her his mistress, and he's like, Nuh-uh. She ain't my mistress. She is my fiance. This is all proper like. I respect her. She respects me. We ain't got none of this mistress stuff. Even though Morel's like, sometimes they're one and the same thing. I mean, they're just friends after all. So then Morel's like, okay, yeah, maybe some other time. I'm not gonna keep a son away from his dad. I mean, I have a son. I wouldn't want anyone keeping my son away from me after he's been off on a long voyage for months. So then Edmund goes to his dad's house.